Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It is such a pleasure to be back with you on Unplugged after we took a break in June. And we did miss the live programs, but I'm sure we kept you going with the premiering of different programs that we knew would hit the mark. We curated them especially for you because we knew that they'd hit the mark for you. So, welcome to Unplugged, the third season of Unplugged. And we're going to run, by the grace of God, from now, July, till the third week of December, when we will end the third season. I'd like to apologize. We were supposed to have started last week. I'd like to apologize that we couldn't do that. My health was compromised, not seriously, but seriously enough for me not to be able to show up. And thank you for coming and waiting patiently with us. We've done a few things in the time we've been away. We have a website, yay! So our website is going to be up latest by August, but we think it's going to be later this month, latest. We also have started the JJC family. That is different from the community we have on Facebook. The JJC family is a smaller, more intimate group where we share what we're going to do first, and we also get there are lots of members benefits of membership. For instance, some trainings we will get, some guest addresses, some and discounts too. And you also get to know what we plan to do first, and have an opportunity to speak into our lives. Yes, you have the opportunity to speak into our lives as well. We did an annual group coaching. So if you want to join the JJC community, what do you have to do? All you have to do is to ask to join. It's just called the JJC family. Sorry, the JJC family, not the JJC community. The JJC family. So just ask to join, and then we'll be glad to put you through. We meet once every quarter, so that's a minimum of 4 times a year formally. But we have other programs that we will run throughout the year, only for your benefit. So, and it's a paid, but it's just a peppercorn payment, just something just to show that you are committed, nothing major. So we had an annual group coaching last week, Saturday, reset, and it was wonderful. It was incredible. We are going to be showing you snippets from that from next week, I believe. And we had a special address by a JJC patron. And yes, now we have a patron. Yes. His name is Selvin Collins of Brand Youth Global Inc. Incorporated, based out of New York. So if you want to check him out, check him out. But I'm sure Selwyn will come and talk to us again at some point in time. And what else do I want to tell you? On August 31st, we are bringing back Brands and Brunch in collaboration with an ILO, that's International Labor Organization trained certified trainer. And the program we're going to run is Start and Improve Your Business. We are going to put up the flyers by next week or this weekend. This weekend, you see? This weekend. Okay. For JJC families, the family members, there is a special discount. So let us know. It's going to be a physical class. So you either have to be in Port Harcourt or come to Port Harcourt. So let's see how that would go. Now, that is all for now. I will share this share these comments again. But hey, Jerry, hey, Julie, Essien, welcome, welcome. Hey, Kenda, welcome. Hi, UC, I see you online. Welcome. I'd like to bring on our guest for today. It's food, glorious food. I mean, where would we be without food, shelter, clothing, accommodation? Food is just so important in the scheme of things. And we wanted to start with a toe in the water, you know, exploration of food and what's of agriculture. But we now discovered that it won't do to just skirt around the issues. We have to go into the different sectors and see what there is, what is there that SMEs are doing, what are their challenges, and how can these things be escalated. One thing we've also decided to do is that we're going to be doing deep dives into these issues that concern us and concern our community. So, no more skirting around things. We are going to go deep, as deep as we can go. And if there are things that you'd like us to look at, yes, please look at that. But for the next 2 months, July and August, we are going to focus on agriculture. Hi, Soti, welcome. So, permit me to bring on stream our guest for today, Nimdir Nansoh.
Auntie Julia.
Welcome, Nimdir.
Thank you, Auntie Julia. Good morning, everyone that's watching us. Um, Super excited to
And
be
let me bring you
on Unplugged, and it's so
Instagram.
good to see Auntie Julia. We were not here last week. A lot of people reached
Yeah.
out to express their concerns and their worries. Some asked me, "I hope she has not been kidnapped." And so, thank you everyone that asked. Auntie Julia is fine, as you can see.
Yes, I'm fine. I was not when Nimda told me I was really touched, and then I just thought, oh my goodness, what a horrible how would I call it, indication of of our times, that you don't come on and people think you're probably kidnapped. That's but thank God I'm here. I wasn't kidnapped. I was
Yeah.
just pretty under the weather. I didn't have the energy. Hi, Merban. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you. So, Nimda, I'm going to just invite you on Instagram so we can start our conversation today.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, sis Amaka. Happy birthday for yesterday. It was my sister Amaka's birthday yesterday. Thank you for joining. Okay, Nimda. Okay, there you go. There you go. Thank you,
Thank you.
Sister Joyce. Thank you for joining. Okay. Okay, so Nimder is the founder and the CEO of House of Purples. Now, I tell her that I usually call it House of Potatoes. And she had a good laugh, because what they do is also. Nimder, could you just stand up a little bit? Let everybody see your T-shirt.
Okay. Yes. House of Purpose Africa. Okay, this way, yeah?
House of Purples Africa. Yes, yes,
Yes.
we can see you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hi, Jules. Chef Jules. Hi, Nanlong. Thank you for joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Oyi, for joining. Thank you. Now, somebody had asked me where your name is from, and I thought I should just ask because they just said, yeah, Julia, where do you collect all these exotic people from? I don't know. So please, where's your name from?
I'm Tarok from Lantan in Plateau State.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I told them, but I'm glad the person is online right now. So
Okay. They get to hear it from
yeah,
me.
we get to hear it from you directly. Okay. So Nimde, yes, House of Purpose. Yes, we all want to live a purposeful life. And I'm going to ask her why she called it House of Purpose a little bit later. Thank you, Joyce, for that. You know, and Nimde believes in seeking sustainable ways, and that's something that I like, because I don't see these things as buzzwords. These are things that make a difference in life and
Yeah,
well-being,
true.
sustainable, you know. And you're looking at sustainable ways to fight hunger and poverty and build economically independent and self-sustaining communities. That is on one hand. On the other hand, you're an activist.
An advocate. I prefer the word advocate because I'm not fighting. I don't know. I'm advocating.
I, okay, we'll take your word, advocate, but some of the things I see you writing sound like you're fighting.
Sometimes we have to fight, but mostly we advocate.
Okay, but you're engaged in the lives of people. You're engaged in the well-being of people.
Yes.
So why did you choose the name House of Purpose for your business? And yeah, why did you choose that name?
Because of the word purpose, I think it started with my mom constantly telling me to live purposefully. Don't just live anyhow. I should always talk about being deliberate. So for me, the word purpose comes with the word deliberate. So, and then she would talk a lot about purpose, purpose, purpose. So when I wanted to register a company, I had a dream and I just got the name House of Purpose. Like it dropped like a rope. So it came like a banner and it was House of
Mm.
Purpose. So then I wasn't very sure. I woke up and I thought of halls of purpose. Where are the halls leading to? But in a house there's shelter, which is shelter is stability, and it's one of the things that we want to give to people. So that's how I got the name, because we want to be deliberate about providing stability for people.
Okay. So purpose for you means stability. Is that what it means?
More like being deliberate about the things that you do, about how you live, finding a reason for the things that you do, and sticking to the reasons why you do the things you do. That's what purpose is for
Okay.
me.
So living intentionally, not just living according to any wind that comes in, you go in that direction. You
I like to
set
say
your
anywhere
focus
belle
and you
face.
move.
Yes, we don't
Any
live
what?
like anywhere belle face. You know how they say people just live like anywhere belle face, like where it's going to be better economically for you. No, that's not living purposefully.
Okay, okay. So you decided to use agriculture as a major tool for achieving this goal of fighting hunger and building economically independent communities. Why did you choose
Yes,
agriculture?
because it is a tool that we already have. We're not trying to pick it from anywhere, and we have land. Um, of course, in the process of trying to get ready for Unplugged, I did some research, and I find that Africa has 60% of arable land in the world, and Nigeria has 13% of that. So it means we have all of this land, and for us here in Plateau State, we have so much of it, and it's fertile. So we don't have oil, we have mineral resources, but maybe not in huge deposits. But we have agriculture. Our people are predominantly farmers, and so I thought that we, without much struggle, it would just be the easy way to bring something that can help people grow. You're not bringing something new that will be difficult for them to adapt to.
Okay, but if it's already there, then why do they need your intervention?
Because most of the I'll just say farming, because farming is different from agriculture. It's a component of agriculture. Most of the farming that goes on here is at subsistence level. It's just for people to have food to eat, and whatever is left they get to sell. So it's like they practice farming to just be able to live until they die. So um it just doesn't go beyond eating. Oh, for my children, those of them that can afford to get fertilizer for bigger farms and all of that, then they are able to send children to school and all of that. So we decided that we can make agriculture a business that people can benefit from. Now, actually, when we started, HOP Africa is a corporate social responsibility implementation organization or firm. And when we said CSR, I feel that and it's I'm not saying that this is what it is, but these are my thoughts that we've become entitled to aids and grants, and every time we just keep waiting for aids to come in, and then they come, we build a hospital that we're not going to be able to maintain. We build boreholes that, because there's huge numbers of people on one borehole, before 6 months the boreholes are broken. And so I said, instead of companies just coming to do libraries that they're not going to maintain, to build libraries and all of this, why not come and empower the people with what they already have? They're already into agriculture. So expand the agriculture they're doing already into a business. And then with that agriculture, the people are made to now do the project from the proceeds. So I'll give you a practical example of what HOP does. For instance, if Julia Jacks Consulting decides to come and do CSR in Plateau State, what we will do is that we'll take you to a community that, for instance, I'll use potatoes, is my favorite crop to use. We'll take you to a community that farms Irish potatoes, get our smallholder women farmers, we ask them to bring land, which is what we have. So because women don't have land, they will ask their fathers, ask the community, ask their husbands. So they bring the equity of land. Basically, that's all they will bring. Whatever funds that Julia Jacks Consulting brings will go into training for the women, because you must train them to understand. So that's the expansion of the business. You're teaching them new ways of doing the business. It will cover for seed, it will cover for input, it will cover for extension services, that's like tractor services, and everything that is required until the end of the project when harvest is done. Then it now depends if Julia Jacks Consulting wants part of the revenue so that it can re reinvest into the community, then they take a part of it. But
Yeah.
whatever the women, yes, whatever revenue we get, or whatever profits, now, whatever profits we get, the women are made to sign an agreement at the beginning of the project that they would contribute a portion of their profits to the community. So they choose a community project that they want to implement with the money they get from the project. And at the end of it, they're able to do their project. And because they're already farming and you've expanded them, because when you give them good seed, it means that even afterwards, they still have seed. You're not going away with the seed, it's part of your investment. They still have the seed to replant, and so they're able to better manage whatever facility, whatever structure it is that they've built. That way they have a sense of ownership of whatever project it is. So they're not thinking that, oh, this NGO came and built this hospital and they just went to. No, it's now that, oh, we worked, these people brought money, but they empowered us. We worked, we built this project, we did this project, we built whatever it is we have built, and so we will sustain. Their children see it and they know that, oh, our mothers, our community did this for us, and we owe it to ourselves. It's not to anybody anymore to ensure that the buildings or whatever it is that we've built are sustained.
So what you do is essentially give them a sense of ownership.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now you had talked about, you mentioned some things in passing. You said a lot of things, but two things jumped out at me: that you work mainly with smallholder female farmers who do not have their
Yes.
own land.
Yes.
Why? Why don't they have their own? Is that just a cultural thing? Because I know we are really diverse culturally in Nigeria. Where I come from, which is in the southeastern part of Nigeria. I'm Efik. I'm Efik by birth. I do not believe owning land is an issue at all. Is that such a big issue, or is it becoming less of an issue in your part of the world?
It's still an issue. Even though we're evolving, women are beginning to own land, women are beginning to buy land, but here, women still don't inherit land. So, whatever land that our women have, it's either their husband, so it's family land, or their fathers decide that, okay, you can use it, but it's not your own. You can use it for this period. So, yes, land is still a major issue for women here.
Hmm. Okay, we have
And it's
questions, and
really
we have. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I say this, yes, it's really an issue because last year we farmed 13 hectares of Irish potatoes. It meant that we worked with 13 women because each woman came in with 1 hectare of land. Now, after the project, we were trying to see how we could go forward into the new year and still work with them. And two of the women had to pull out. One, it was her husband that gave the land. The second, it was her father, and they wanted to use their lands, and so they don't have lands to bring into the project. So it meant that they had to go off. So the only thing for us is that in fact I was very upset about it, and I just said okay, that was it. But then I had a rethink, and I said it's not them, it's their fathers and their husbands. So what we'll do is now pair them with the other women whose husbands and fathers are still allowing them to still use the farmlands.
That word allow just sets my teeth on edge a little bit, but I think that would be an issue for another day, because I know it's something that goes on in many parts of Nigeria. So I just
True.
want to share some comments so far. We have a comment from Lama Timothy Elam, who says, House of Purpose, providing stability in these tough seasons. Good name and great work you're doing. Yes, yes.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Lama Timothy. Yes. And we have a comment from Adza Joyce. She says, We all want to live a purposeful life. Yes. Thank you
Very
very
true.
much, Joyce. Yes. And let me see. Yeah, this must be another friend of yours who says, what's his name? Nenkinan. Yeah, Nehemiah, Team Purpose. Yes, yes.
Yes.
And then we do have a question. Actually, two questions.
Okay.
Two, one question and one comment from Geraldine. Geraldine says, please clarify for me what exactly is House of Purpose Africa registered as a for-profit, a not-for-profit. From what I've heard so far, it sounds like an NGO set up to facilitate economic development.
No, we're not an NGO. We're a social enterprise. But well, we in Nigeria we can't be registered as a social enterprise. So we're registered as a business, as a limited by guarantee, instead of like a limited liability company. There's a clause, I guess, that allows us to be registered as a limited by guarantee company.
What is a social enterprise? I think I've asked someone before what a social enterprise is. I may have forgotten. What is a social enterprise exactly?
Okay, I don't have a definition, but I'll explain what a social enterprise. I think basically it's a business that runs to generate revenue or income, and then the revenue that we generate goes into social causes. And I'll say why
Okay.
HOP Africa is a social enterprise, because once upon a time I convened an NGO, and we had to do the whole we write to solicit. So it got so bad that you call people for something very different and they don't want to pick your calls because they'll be like these NGO people that want to beg. So I just got tired of a lot of the attitude. And then when you're writing for grants, they tell you your NGO is not 5 years old, so no, we can't give you any
eligible.
money.
Okay.
And so I said, why is there a way we can earn our own money? It's allowed for us in the constitution to earn our money and still do social causes. And then I found out about social enterprises on LinkedIn, and I said, oh, perfect, this is the way to go. So once I resigned from the NGO, I just thought that, okay, this is just the time to go and start the social enterprise. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a little bit about that because I have a friend who's joined who runs an NGO, and I think the issue of keeping donors engaged is a big one. But we have a question from Joyce, who says, "How do you raise awareness? How do you raise awareness for what you do?"
We write to as many organizations as we can. All our social media handles are active. Every now and then when we have activities, we post about our activities. We have partners who also share the activities that we carry out with them. So basically, that's how we. And well, now I'm on Unplugged. This is another way of raising awareness for the work that we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you actually just keep talking and talking about your business and making sure you are in you are heard by the right people and seen in the right places.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So media and the publicity is very important in raising
Absolutely.
awareness.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. We have a couple of other comments. Okay. We have a comment on by Petit Four. Actually love your name. That Petit Four is beautiful. You know, it says House of Purpose is indeed purpose driven. It's great the way they work to empower women. Well, kudos to you,
Yeah.
Nimdir. Kudos to you and House of Purpose. Yes,
Thank
you
you.
know, kudos to you. But we will talk about that. We will talk about that. There's so much to talk about. Let me see. This is a comment from Geraldine based on yeah. I said I do know that women are essentially disenfranchised in terms of land ownership in most cultures in Nigeria. Yes, among the ethics in Cross River, women landowners are also the norm alongside the men. But in the northern parts of the same state, women are totally disenfranchised. So you see, it goes in and out, and
Yeah.
I know inheritance, even in the north, I think there has been a Supreme Case ruling. I may be wrong, but I think I heard about that. Not, I was reminded about that recently, that
Uh,
well, the Supreme Court can make certain judgments, but we just in practice it's difficult to
yes.
enforce.
Very
It's really
true.
difficult to enforce. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let me tell you about this, my friend, because she doesn't like to ask questions. She's quiet, but I know she wants me to ask this question. She wants an NGO which provides let me call it resources, not just school fees, but educational resources for children from the inner city areas, specifically in River State. And
Okay.
I think she's reached the point, she's reached a wall where donors actually are not very excited, you know, to do it. So you find out that you go to the trustees and the trustees don't even answer you again. They're not answering as quickly. They don't even attend meetings. So how can she, is it possible for her to pivot from being an NGO to being a social enterprise? What advice would you give her?
If she can, yes. I don't know the legal angle to that because it would mean some registration tweaking. I don't know how. But yes, if she can, I think that that's the way to go. Funding will always stop. You have to find a way, but that's why we're dynamic. So I think if she can, And I think she should explore how she, and even as an NGO, I don't know if NGOs are allowed to, no, they're not. They're not. I think I understand they're not allowed to run businesses, but she can register a business name, and gradually it can evolve into a social enterprise. And so it can be that the NGO has its company, something like that.
Okay, okay.
Yes,
And then
because
that
hopefully,
is used to feed the NGO.
yes, yes, yeah, because we may one day start a HOP Africa Foundation, which will be the NGO arm of HOP Africa. But as HOP Africa, we're a full business. Yes, so she can explore that.
Okay. I'm not going to mention her name, but you got your answer here. So if you want to talk to Nimdir about this, let me know. And you know what we do best? We hook people up. You know,
Yeah.
we hook people up. So we have another comment here from Jato Shedrack Sati. Thank you for joining us, Jato. Said, well done, House of Purpose, for turning our women into independent entrepreneurs, contributing to the economic development of their household and the economy.
Thank you.
Yes, I think
Thank you.
when you take care, when a woman earns, the whole family benefits. The whole
Very
family
true.
benefits.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'd like to you to talk a little bit about how you decided you wanted to focus on women, why potatoes, and how that is going for you. But before we do that, let me just ask everybody, since I got your attention here, ask you to please join us on Julia Jacks Consulting. You know, like our page, share our page. Actually, I have somebody who says this better than me, but she doesn't want to come. She wants to come online and say it. She doesn't want to come online and say, like Julia Jacks Consulting on Instagram and Facebook. Share this link today, and also please, if you want to be a member of the Julia Jacks family, it's a smaller, more intimate group where we do have different benefits. Membership has its benefits. You pay something as small as for now 20,000 naira a month to have access to people who will come and talk to you about specific things that we will not deal with on Unplugged. So please, well, if you'd like to join us. If you want to join us for the half of the year, it's a 10K. You know, well, for the full year is 100K. Sorry, that is where my mind was. 20K. You know, 20K. Yes, and you can just send us um, a direct message, and we'll get back to you. We're really good at getting back to people very quickly. And also to let you know, if you join the family, not the have a program on the 31st of August, Brands and Brunch, and we're running it in collaboration with an ILO, International Labour Organization certified trainer, and it's called Start and Improve Your Business. And it's a free for everybody. It's a physical event. So if you can join us in Port Harcourt, please join us. You know, and for people who are members of the family, yes, you will get a good discount. I promise you. But we'll put up all the information very soon. Okay, that's about. Oh, Lara, hi, Lara. Lara, you said the audio is patchy. Is it patchy for everybody on Facebook and Instagram?
I
Please let
noticed it
us
was
know.
a little
Can
patchy,
you
but I
hear?
think it's clearer now.
Yeah, I think it's coming in and going out, which we should expect at this time of the year. But If it's patchy, okay, Joyce, thank you for saying it's not patchy. Um, Lara, oh, it's
Okay,
better now.
yes.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so Nimdir, we're back to you.
Okay.
Why women? And what were the questions? Why
Why women
women? Yes.
and why
What?
potatoes?
Why women? Why potatoes? Yes.
Why women? Because when you invest in a woman, you're not only investing in her, you're investing in her household and her community. Especially for us here in Plateau State. We know our story. I'm not going to say much so I don't get attacked after after my session, but they know exactly what I'm saying. So working with women means that we're empowering not just the woman but herself and her household and her community, and that's why we chose women, and also because they are they're more disadvantaged than the men. They're the ones that, like I said, don't own land. So the men, they own land, so sometimes they can lease out their lands and earn money. Women don't have that advantage. A woman can't go to a construction site and it'll be easy for her to get a job there. They would probably turn her back. Women are less employed than men. So, I mean, if we can empower them through agriculture, I would absolutely work with women, and they're more trustworthy and for me easier to work with. Now, when I started, I kept saying women have drama. I'm not sure I want to work with women. But honestly, it's been maybe not easy, but a lot easier than and I had anticipated. It's been easy working with them, and then women will always quickly pray for you, which we need every now and then. So it's just nice to work with women because they will give back and everyone can benefit. That's why women. Why potatoes? Because it's our lowest hanging fruit here on the plateau. Potato is high risk. Irish potato now. Irish potato, the production is high risk because of the risk of blight, climate changes, and all of that. So, and to produce potato is high cost. It takes about 4.2 million naira to farm 1 hectare of potatoes. It takes 500,000 naira to farm 1 hectare of sweet potato. It takes about 380 or 400,000 naira roughly to farm a hectare of maize. So you can see the huge gap. But it also means that it's also a crop that you can earn a lot from. So it's high risk but also high profit. It's a high profit crop. So that's why potatoes. I mean, Plateau State is the only state, okay, well, until 2 years ago, that they now grow potatoes in Obudu, but not even on the scale that we grow here. So it's what we have. Like I keep saying, one of the questions I asked myself at the beginning of this journey was, what do I have in my hands? So what can I use? So that's why we went the way of potato, even though it's not the only crop that we cultivate, but it's our major crop.
Okay. Which other crops do you cultivate?
Acha. Acha
Acha.
is
Tell.
also
Okay.
known as fonio.
Acha is a grain, right? Okay.
Yes. So there's a research that has been on the internet for many, many years about the lost wonder foods of Africa, something like that, or the lost foods of Africa. I can't remember. And acha is one of those lost grains that they keep talking about. And I remember when I was in TW, I did a research on the food column of TW for Acha, and a lot of people then reached out because we talked about the health benefits. Doctors advise diabetics to eat Acha, and all of that. It's a very healthy grain. So we cultivate acha, we cultivate orange flesh sweet potato. It's a new variety of sweet potato. It looks like carrots. Yes. And we're looking to go into ginger, into soya beans, and now strawberries. We're also looking to, so we're doing some research and preparing ourselves for the season.
Wow. I'm just amazed of the figure you just read. 1 hectare of Irish potatoes with 4.2 million.
Yes.
For sweet potatoes, 1 hectare, and for maize is 3,000, right?
Yes.
About 3,000. So what is the remains? How share?
I lost you for a bit, so I didn't get the question.
What do you get the profits? I could type it in
Auntie Julie, I lost you for a
just
bit, so I didn't get the question.
return to make sure you hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. I can hear you, but I lost you for a bit, so I didn't get the question.
Okay. Let, okay.
Okay.
Let me then just my end. Let me just post the questions that people have asked. Joyce asked this while I sort out my audio. I'll just go off
Okay, I
camera
can hear
and
you
then
clearly
sort
now.
out my audio.
I
Okay.
can hear you clearly.
Okay. Okay. So we have a question from Joyce. Can you export to the UK?
Not yet. We haven't explored yet because we don't even have enough to feed. Even here in Jos, sometimes we have scarcity of potatoes. Across Nigeria, there's scarcity, so we haven't even explored. And I understand that export needs there's some technicalities involved in exporting food out of Nigeria, so we haven't started. The most we do is send some of our potatoes to parts of Maiduguri, and so it gets to Chad and Niger. People come from there to buy potatoes from Plateau State, but we as HOP Africa have not delved into any exportation yet.
Okay. Thank you. And that relates directly to a question that Jerry has asked. How have you sorted out the access to markets issue, especially access to cross-border markets outside Jos and Plateau states?
Hmm. So remember, when I started the conversation, I talked about farming being a component of agriculture. So there's an entire value chain in agriculture. There's the haulage and transportation chain, or part of the chain, and that is one area that is largely untapped and very problematic. The last time we worked with partners in Lagos, and to for them to get their potato to Lagos was just hectic. Getting trucks that would move, the trucks will cost you hundreds of thousands of naira, as much as 400,000. to move potatoes from Jos to Lagos. You get to Lagos, you're taking it to K2 market or whatever market, and they're asking you for as much as 100,000 for some levies and all of that. So it's, and I don't even know how you can sort these issues. So that's why you'd get a bag of potato for 15,000 naira in Jos, and you get to Lagos, it's as high as 35,000 naira. I don't exactly blame the sellers. It's the logistics that happens in between. It's just cutthroat. Now, there is market. Nigeria is a market already. So it's sad to see that we're still importing potatoes, because sometimes we even have serious post-harvest losses. You don't even want to know how much potatoes and other crops we lose, sometimes even on the farm, maybe to disease. And then sometimes it's post-harvest, you've harvested, there's sometimes the farmers curse it. They don't want to sell, they're waiting for the price to go up. There's no adequate storage facility, and before you know it, they lose their crops. But there's markets. Every now and then we have people from outside Plateau asking, can you send us potatoes to Port Harcourt, to Lagos, Enugu, Asaba, Abuja, all around. But there's always that price to pay. So yes, there's market, even if it's not very formal, but there's market for any kind of agro produce that you produce in Nigeria. There's the market, but it's the link of the access, the sending it across, that is the major challenge.
The other aspects of the value chain, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay. I sense that you're pulling your punches, you're holding back on that, But the truth is that the other aspects of the value chain do interrupt the process.
yes,
Seriously,
yeah.
do interrupt the process. And for you to probably do the strawberries and other things that you plan to do, you're going to have to address that one way or the other.
Yeah.
So you say you're not an activist, you are a what did you say you are?
Advocate.
Not an
Advocate.
advocate. Okay,
Yeah.
you may have to put on your activist muscles, because yeah. So I would ask this question from Miriam Sirma, because it really speaks, that's part of the value chain and part of the things that interrupt our lives, especially the agriculture um, ecosystem. I saw an interview sometime on television on how farmers are being harassed in the middle belt slash north. Do they harass you and your team? And if yes, how did you handle that?
When you say being harassed, I want to ask, what did you see? Insecurity is a major problem here. One of the reasons we particularly farm our Irish potatoes in Fan district, and I'm already getting a little emotional because every time you talk about insecurity, the issues are there. We farm our potatoes in Fan because it's a safe district. The chief and his people have been able to manage the security situation. So you never hear about attacks in Fan district, and that's not the same for other districts. People go out to farm and they're killed on their farms. Um, Last year, we lost about 12 hectares of acha in Kuru because um, people were killed in Kuru, and we couldn't go to the farms. It wasn't safe. So insecurity is a real issue, and well, we get by.
Yeah, yeah. It was just something that we have to talk about. It's like the elephant in the room. We have to talk about the fact that insecurity affects our lives at every level, wherever we are. There is no one there's no business that is immune from insecurity. I mean, for those
Yeah.
who are just joining us now, last week when we couldn't come on, um, Nimdir's friends actually reached out to her to ask if I was safe, if I had been kidnapped, and that is the reality of our lives at this point in time. That these are issues we have to deal with, and it is extremely sad. And my own public service announcements at this point is: please get your PVC. You might think your vote doesn't count, and people might make you think your vote doesn't count. Don't believe it. Please get your PVC. Arm yourself with your PVC. We all have a right. It's a country. It's a country. We all have a right to speak into the progress of this country. That is as much as I can say. And I would say, my sincere condolences to the families. So many families have been displaced and their lives disrupted and cut short for no good reason. No good reason. You know, I'm really sorry about that. I'm sorry. And my heart goes out sincerely to not just the people that you know, but all over Nigeria. Some of these people, I mean, all of them are our brothers. I mean, Curtis Mayfield had a song that all men are brothers, and that's my belief. That's what my faith
Absolutely.
is teaching me to believe, and that's what I believe. And I will ask another question from we have a
Okay.
very lively um, uh, group today. Thank you. So when Bature says agriculture is a beautiful asset to our people on the plateau, but the middlemen running and determining the market prices have not and have never been helpful to the farmers. What mediums are you employing to address such issues to assist and help farmers off the subjugation by the middlemen? Is that part of what you can do?
Yes.
Okay. So please, can you speak to us about it?
Okay. We usually identify our buyers even most times before we even go to the farms to start production. So there's nobody in the middle. We're your middle people, and you know that, where we call them our HOP women. They know that we're just out to protect you. So there's no middleman in between. And it's not only HOP that is doing that. There's several organizations, companies here on the plateau, like GIZ. Recently, I attended a training on market linkage, to connect the farmers straight to the end users and to eliminate the middleman who just keeps, robbing the farmer. I think literally that's the right word. The middleman robs the farmer of any profit.
Okay. So how are you going to now? I want to talk to you about your business. How are you going to be able to scale and make your business more robust in order to do all these good things that you plan to do?
We have to farm too. Every time we
Do you have
we
land? Do you have land? Name there. Do you
No,
have land
but we
yourself?
have women. We don't have lands, but we have women. So the women bring the land, and then we have our sharing formula. Um, so we always have to farm. Every time companies come to ask us about CSR, we talk about our project management fee, and from this fee, when our women pick projects and their own percentage cannot complete the project, it is expected that we match whatever it is that they've been able to raise. So as a social enterprise, it doesn't it's not a difficult thing at all to match. And then sometimes when we can't match, we reach out to individuals who want to do philanthropy and say, okay, this project, this is what we have done, and now we need um your support to complete it. Yeah.
Okay. You had mentioned partners, and we're almost at the end of this program. You mentioned partners before, and I believe those are some people who bring in. Who are your partners? Let me not make any assumptions. Who would
Number
you
one
call your
partner,
partners? Yeah.
people that bring in technical support, GIZ number one. I actually brag about our partnership with GIZ because they're all about empowering our people. And then there's a potato value chain in GIZ that is focused on the production of potatoes in Plateau State. And I'm very thankful that we're partnering with them officially. So GIZ is our number one partner. There's Fruits and Veggies. It's a company here in Plateau State that provides seed. I think our work is kind of similar, but we don't have the capital base that they have. They have been in business for almost 12 years now. So they bring in, I think Fruits and Veggies is the only importer of seed in Nigeria, of potato seed in Nigeria. So to get good seed, you need Fruits and Veggies. So Fruits and Veggies are our partners. And then they're also a market for us because they also process the potato. So I think it's the only indigenous company that makes Irish potatoes into fries and sells outside of Jos. Yes, so they're also a market for us. There's Valency Agro that supplies our herbicides, and then there are individuals that we partner with. I'm not sure some of them would want me to mention their names.
No, no problem. Those would be people who would like you to handle CSR projects for them, right?
Yes. So for individuals, it's philanthropy.
Philanthropy. Okay,
Yes.
okay, that's great. Okay, so we have a question here by from Jerry. And she says she's just curious. Can your company not acquire land bit by bit for its purposes and therefore avoid the ownership issues there? And once registered, your business is a legally can legally acquire land in its name, and you can internally structure to enable access to land for use by the women. Okay, she's a lawyer, so her brain works that way. So,
We're actually working on that. In fact, our last visit to fan community, I told the chief, I said he should start scouting and asking for where we can get a piece of land in fan, because for us in HOP now, fan is home. We're comfortable there. They have fertile land. The people are friendly and good to work with. We don't have issues of theft, and integrity is not an issue at all in fan for us. So we're already looking at that, but of course it always goes back to the issue of finance. So we will definitely do it, but not immediately.
okay, okay, but it's something that is on your
Yeah, we're already in talks. Yes. And he actually said to me that we could even get a piece of land, lease it, and if the owner decides to sell, so we can now pay gradually over a period of time, which makes it easier for us to acquire.
okay. Nimdir, I'm going to make a quick announcement, and while I'm making the announcement, I'd like you to tell us to think about how you plan, at least how you plan to grow your business in the next 12 months, and also what your brand is. Just think about it, please, for a minute. I know I just blindsided you with that question, you know, but I'd like to just tell our viewers that next week we'll continue with Food Glorious Food, and we're going to look at maybe the I don't know if it's the supply end, well, the consumer end of the agro business with Sandra Ayame George Calio, who talked to us about Banga juice and other things that she does in that food chain. And also with Nankwat Outer. I hope I did not savage her name. Who talks to
Now,
us
quite
about Outer? Okay, Nankwat Outer. Who talks to us about Greek yogurt and other things that she does. also in that. So that is on our side, on the consumer side. So please tune in with us. We're going to have two guests next week, and tune in same time, and we're going to have a great time. I promise you, we're going to have a great time. You know. So Nimdir, back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you plan to grow your business, and how would you describe your brand?
Plans to grow our business. For what we do is just to expand, to look at other crops and where best it will grow and how we can work with the people there. So that means to expand into more communities and into more food items or whatever it is that we can grow basically, and of course to increase our partnerships with as many companies and individuals as we can. We keep writing, we keep seeking partnerships every single day. I think we're sending out mails, we're receiving mails, and we keep trying to build networks across here in Plateau State and across Nigeria and even outside the country. My brand, what do I want to achieve with HOP Africa? When I think what I want people to think of when they hear HOP Africa is an organization that is out to build people, to build communities, to empower women, empower communities, to influence and motivate young people to join. It's not the bandwagon, it's the way to go. Agriculture. As a matter of fact, I should mention here that we have a farmers club that is a few months, 2 months old, where we encourage young people to get involved in agriculture. Our plan is to link them to the women in the rural areas. So everybody's bringing some equity to whatever it is they're doing. The young ones are bringing technology, they're bringing new ways of agriculture, new ways of doing things. And then the older ones, that's the women now in their communities, they're bringing their own expertise, right? We can never do away with our cultural practices. And then they're bringing their land and labor and all of that. So I just thought I should talk about the Farmers Club. So that's what I want people to, every time they hear HOP Africa, they just think of building people, building communities, empowering people, and influencing and motivating young people to go into agriculture, to build themselves. Once upon a time, agriculture was the bedrock that Nigeria's economy flourished on. From, I mean, over 30 years, it dropped from 62% to right now it's about 22%. That's just what agriculture contributes to the economy. But I tell you that if people focus on agriculture, if the government is more serious about agriculture, because and we need to, it's not if we don't have a choice. We're running out of oil. In 30 years there won't be oil, but there'll always be farmlands and there'll always be fertile lands for people to work on. So it's time that our youth especially start to stop saying there are no jobs and go back to the farms. And like I talked about an entire value chain. Though you don't have to go to the farm, but you can be involved in agriculture.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nimde. You talked about for to grow your business, more crops, more communities, more partnerships, more money. I hope
Yes.
you're also looking at your corporate governance and the structures and processes, so as you grow bigger, your foundation is also go deeper. Very important thing.
Yes.
I yeah, Almaz. I love that your name. You know, I heard this in a song.
It's
Yeah,
Amos. He says his name
Amos.
isn't
Amos.
pronounced properly. Yes, so it's
Okay, Amos.
Amos.
Okay,
Yeah, so
I
he
I
writes
thought
it
it was
as it should
Almaz.
be pronounced.
Amos. Yeah, I did hear it, but it was Almaz. Okay, sorry, Amos. Any plans with collaborating with the Plateau State Ministry of Agriculture to improve agro productivity?
That's a difficult question for me to answer. Yes, we have plans. We don't know when. I think that's just what I'll say. I'm trying because the environment is very political right now. So the truth is, I really wonder what the Plateau State Ministry of Agriculture is doing. I know what GIZ is doing. I know what other organizations are doing, but I don't know what the government is doing. And if they're doing anything, and if any of them is watching me, I'd like to know. Have we reached out? Yes, we just hardly know what they're doing, and we'll keep reaching out until we know what they're doing and how we can collaborate.
Okay. I'd say please keep reaching out and keep talking. There's another friend of mine who is on this, I think she's on this broadcast, Juliet, and she has the same energy as you had, and the passion. She's in the baking field and she's all for clean eating and everything. And she she is definitely somebody you could talk to and share ideas with on how to engage, because at a certain point private sector, yes, will work out well, but we need the policy and we need the backing from governments to really scale this, you know. And Jerry asked if I can share her number with you. Is that possible? Can I do that?
Yes, please.
Okay. um do you, okay, we have links for HOP Africa, which I will put now. The Farmers Club. Do you have a link for the Farmers Club?
No, just our website will suffice. If you're on the website, you'll find everything you need to know about the Farmers Club.
Okay, so Nenkinan has put the thank you, Nenkinan, hopiafrica.org.ng. That's what you need. So we are really out of time. So three pieces of advice you'd give someone who is coming into your this business, agribusiness, agri-tech, as we talked about it, but we didn't get to talk about that. Yeah.
The space is wide. There's a lot. So don't be afraid to come into agribusiness. There's plenty of opportunities for you. Also realize that agribusiness is high risk business. You cannot do agriculture without expecting a lot of there are a lot of risks involved, and you must prepare for the risk. And insurance, I don't know, insurance in Nigeria is another issue. I won't be talking about that. And thirdly, when you get into agriculture, be there to stay. It's not something that you can do and just walk away from. It's something that requires consistency, requires discipline. So if you're in agriculture, you have to plan to have staying power, basically. Those are the three things I'd like to conclude with.
Okay. So don't be afraid. Many opportunities. It's high risk. So come in with your eyes wide open, and then you must have staying power.
Yes.
I dare say you must have a heart for it.
True.
Yeah.
Yes. A large
Yeah.
heart because
Love heart.
agriculture will break your heart
Okay.
if it goes the other way. But again, it will give you joy if it goes well.
Thank you so much, Nimdir. It's been a total pleasure talking to you and seeing your face after all this time. It's been a total
Yes.
pleasure. Yes.
Thank you.
And thank you. Which other way could we have started our new season than with such a very lively and engaging session? Nimder has taken us to Plateau State and back. I have big dreams of strawberries and all those kind of berries coming our way. I hope we'll be able to do grapes at some point in time. you know,
But we
and
do
then
great.
you do grapes as
Oh,
well.
what don't we do in Plateau State? Yes.
Oh my word! And I did hear what you said about Obudu, and I hope there's somebody there who will just pick this up and run because the climate is almost the same, you know.
Yes.
So you see, we can't run away from engaging with governments, no matter what we say, you know.
Yeah, true.
Thank,
True.
thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for staying on this long. Really appreciate it. Next week, remember, we have two incredible ladies who come and talk to us about the supply side and the consumer side and what their story has been. Nankwat Auta and Sandra Ayame George Kalio. They'll be here at 11 o'clock. So come with your questions and we'll see you then. Nimdir, you know I love you. Thank you so
I love
much.
you, Auntie Julia. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye bye,
Bye.
everybody. Bye bye, Nimdir.